So we are back today for day 4 of our Christmas in July series, and it is Tag Thursday. So that is what Thursday is going to be. You can go back to day 1 and find out all of the details of the series, but Thursday is Tag Thursday, and this is one thing that I definitely left until last minute of last year, so I wanted to make sure that I got a head start on this project because I absolutely loved putting tags on at least a few of my kids' presents and then our family presents for sure. It was just a sweet touch, and a lot of them kept them for their tree last year, and it was like a second handmade gift, I guess, or a second gift that was handmade. So I pulled out a ton of that Christmas cardstock that we all have just laying around, right? At least I know I have a ton of Christmas cardstock, tons of Christmas paper packs and all that good stuff. So pulled out a lot of that, found some cardstock that matched up for this one, and started sending it through the die cutter. I just used a regular tag, and then I wanted a scalloped edge on the bottom, and I didn't have a tag die that did that. But what I did have was this scalloped edge cake die from Pretty Pink Posh, and used that and just sent it through on the bottom so that I got that scalloped edge. So sometimes go through and look at those dies that might not be used for the certain thing and use those. All right, so we're going to use the stamps. These are my favorite thing stamp sets. I will link these 2 stamp sets below. I do not have the dies for these, so I am going to stop the camera eventually and fussy cut them. It is what it is. Sometimes these ones aren't too bad to fussy cut, maybe the feet a little bit and sometimes where his hand goes up, but honestly not bad ones to fussy cut. I also could send them through my Silhouette as I have the Pixie Scan cut, but for just these few images I decided not to get all that out. We are going to use some VersaFine Onyx Black ink, and I'm wondering why I did that. I should have been using alcohol marker ink now that I see that. And use our Ohu markers. This is going to be a new thing in my stash as I just got a bunch of these markers. And I'm still trying to figure out the color combination. So this was one reason I wanted to do this series, is that if you are new to Ohulu markers, that I can help you with your color combinations as I get through them, because I do understand that that is probably one of the biggest complaints with these markers, is that their numbering system is a little crazy. So their colors don't exactly match up like, the regular Copics or Olo markers. But we're going to get through it, and we're going to do some color combinations. So I also wanted to match my card stock right there, which is why you see me pull out my swatch. And I didn't want to do, by the end of this and by the time we get to Christmas, how many Santas am I going to color? So let's start out with a little bit more unique, and I'm going to color this one green. I know it's a little bit different, but, you don't have to be traditional all of the time. So the color combination for this one is G5, G330, and then G9, I believe is what this one is. And I loved this color combination. It was like almost a perfect match to my color stock, and I ran with it. So put this one in your little collection, especially for holly leaves and just that non-traditional, maybe even pine trees. This would be good for pine trees also. So keep that one tucked away. I will put all my color combinations also down in the description below with links and all of that too. Now, one thing that I do not have in the Ohulu markers yet is the skin tones, so I will revert back to my Spectrum Noir tri-blends for just skin tones most of the time, and that's what you just did see there, and that marker is just the Fair Skin tri-blend. Also, you're probably like, why are we coloring whites? His beard is white. Well, we do want to add a little bit of dimension. So take your grays in there, add a little bit of shadows. Beards are usually not super white anyways. So definitely get your shadows in there. And then I just blend it out with my colorless marker, and you'll see as the video goes on, it definitely will fade back and look great. So next up is the next Santa, and I did go more traditional with this one. I mean, there's just some that, you know, I'll go super traditional with and some that I won't. I do love this red combo. This is, R8. I got to start leaving the caps at the top. I know, guys, I'm so sorry. R180, and then it's R9, I believe. Again, I will put the combos in the description below if I'm off. I just got to look at my markers, and I'm not close enough to look. But I like this one as that R9, I believe is what it is. Leaves a great highlight there. Oh, I was trying to see it again. Leaves a great highlight in the middle of all of that. So I definitely know it's R8, R180, and then R4 is what it is. R4. So mark this one down. This is a perfect red color combination for your Christmas cards. Now, this red combination is a little brighter than what my card stock was, but I think it ends up kind of going back into the card stock, melting back into the card stock, and matching that more, I would say, cranberry red cardstock that I have. Again, this cardstock, I probably won't be able to link it. Trust me, some of this Christmas cardstock that I've had in my collection is 10 years old because like I buy so much and then I never use it. So again, this series was for me to start getting some of this out of my craft space, and tags is a perfect way to do that, guys. Tags and cards, honestly, are a perfect way. You will see that the red went a little bit into his beard and I was trying to push it back, but honestly, guys, reds are the absolute worst when they bleed, and they're just hard to push back. So it did go back a little bit. You will see that there's a little pink in there. I also am just noticing that I never did go back and give my Santa some rosy cheeks. Not the end of the world, but I usually do give most of my characters little rosy cheeks. So, and then I didn't want to deviate too much. One thing in this series is how to get these Christmas cards kind of done quickly, or Christmas tags or Christmas projects done pretty quickly, as it is July and I'm not trying to spend my whole summer doing this, right? So I wanted to stay to a very tight color scheme pretty much, and I did quite well at that. So I carried the green that I used from the Santa over into the presents of the other Santa, and you're going to see that I also used that green up there on the ribbon, so I kind of just switch it from red to green, and that's kind of what I do a lot when coloring presents. Again, just using those same blends. There we go. That red blend, I love that red. And then for the presents for the other Santa, I actually pull back out my swatch and I will match that blue dark green-ish. I was really trying to figure out if it's an actual blue, but I made it into a blue. Here I go. So I'm really trying to color, use those colors in that cardstock to match and color coordinate everything. And MG100 BG205, and then I know there was one down that was my highlight, so give me 1 second and hopefully I will show that on screen. Will be these boxes, and honestly this was another great combo that I have not found yet. That's a pretty desaturated blue, and worked great for this cardstock. Let's see. Oh, it was a BG205, I believe is what it was. That's, I think, exactly what that was. And then I mixed it with that green, and I thought that those two colors, that green and that blue, that was pretty, that green was pretty desaturated. And I thought it went well with this blue. So just keeping, like I said, keeping that color scheme nice and easy and getting your coloring done in, pretty decent amount of time. It looks like, to go back into my footage, this coloring took me about 15 minutes. That's not bad at all, honestly. Going to take my Jelly Roll white pen and just add a little bit of details. I was like, oh, let's add some polka dots. One of the blue packages, I added like a plaid, just because I didn't love how the black stripes were not showing up all that well with that blue. So I'm like, we're going to go over that with the plaid. And then using that white Jelly Roll pen to push back that red little mess up a little bit more. So, and then adding our little highlights in, and that is pretty good. Sometimes you do need to go over the red ones a little bit. They do soak up that ink a little bit, especially if it hasn't dried or you haven't heat set it. And most of the time I don't. All right, look at that magic film. I fussy cutted so darn quickly, right? And then we needed to figure out our sentiment. I did not have the dies, again, to, I think it's a Hello Bluebird stamp set that I was using. This one just says, "'Tis the season to be jolly." Goes perfectly with this. Now, I was a little hesitant to heat and emboss this snowflake paper, as the snowflakes did already have like a glitter embossing on them. But honestly, it worked pretty well. The only thing I will say is this cardstock is a cheaper pattern paper cardstock. Like I said, anything that comes from like a pattern, like a Joann's paper pack, is generally going to be your like 60-pound and lower cardstock. And I felt like the heat emboss like soaked up in the paper. I don't even know how to explain it. But the second card did well. And then I went back and embossed the first card again, and it came out fine. So even with the snowflakes being erased a little bit, everything came out perfect. And I loved the way that they looked. The black, I did this in black so that it would pop off a little bit. Oh, sorry, I did not. I thought I did the heat embossing on screen. There we go. Brought it back there. But you'll see, like, I'll go to look at it and I'll be like, it's not really embossed. It was just like, looked like I had stamped it. I don't really know. See, I'm like looking at it like, it's not really raised. So I was like, well, let me do the next one. And luckily, when you have a MISTI or a stamp positioner, as long as you keep, the paper in the same spot, you can go back and re-emboss that. A lot of people love the look of a double embossed. It just makes, another layer of embossing, and I will do that sometimes. So it did well. I was pleasantly surprised on the first one that I remembered my anti-static. That's probably my biggest downfall of everything. So I always forget my anti-static, and I did on the second one. It was okay. It wasn't bad at all. I hadn't inked on it or anything like that, so the paper was pretty dry. But here we go. There we go. After the second one turned out pretty well, I did go back and put that first one back in and re-stamped it, and it came out pretty decent, and I was pretty happy with that. All right, so putting these together, I also made sure that the first layer was a little bit shorter with that scalloped edge than the second layer, just so that you could see that from behind. I didn't think that you could really see it. Then just using some ribbon. I have a lot of ribbon that I never use for, December daily and scrapbooking projects. So another great way to get rid of your ribbon. I try not to be picky about ribbon, and like sometimes it's hard and I want to be like all super matchy, but I also just need to use the ribbon. I don't need to buy no more ribbon. I need to use the ribbon that I have. So no dimension, not popping these up with foam tape today. These are just simple tags. And like I said, honestly, I got this done in probably less than an hour, and I was helping my oldest son get through his driver's training and left in the middle of it to go get my youngest son from baseball practice. So lots of starting and stopping, which we all know kind of tanks your creativity sometime. Also, just tying that thread. I've liked this look for a while and never really used it. And then if you can't get the bow to do, use your reverse tweezers and to hold that knot, and then it pretty much comes out right. This one was a little bit, I think I tied it a little too tight to begin with. I just had to go back. That green, though, is popping up again. I loved how that green looked, and I will cut down. I actually stopped after, and I was like, oh, shoot, I never, cut off the edges of this ribbon. So I do go back and do that. And I loved how they turned out. So let me know in the comments below if you like to do tags for your presents, or do you just, write it down. I know so much in, December, but that's why we are getting started early. So let me know in the comments below, even if you just do it for special ones. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.